Hello everyone, welcome back to the KMTRADERS channel. This is the full market analysis volume 44. So if you're new around here, basically we just cover all of the pairs today. So we're looking at gold, euro, USD and NZD for tomorrow because we are going to do a separate video for those. But first off, we'll start off with AUD USD. So what we looked at last week was a potential sell-off into the market, and I was looking at 0.74 as the target. Now we didn't really start off that bearish route from last week. We had a slight retracement, but we still managed to stay below this current high here. So for the time being, I'm just going to mark this as a very crucial high in the market. But towards the end of the week, we started to see price sell off quite strongly. So I am convinced that price is capable enough to push lower. Whether it reaches the 0.74 zone, that's a total different story. But for now, I am looking for price to come into this region at least, or around this area. Until we start to see some bullish momentum, then we can start to consider the second route, which is the upside. But yeah, so pretty much I'm looking for price to start to break this uptrend, which we sort of done here. We've had a very strong rejection, so I'm just curious to that. But we could start to see eventually through the week some price moves to the downside. So I will be keeping an eye out on selling opportunities throughout the week for this pair. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to cover for that. USDJPY. So for this, what I'm looking at is just this area in the market in relation to this downtrend here. So as we can see, we've had a lot of confusion around that area, and pretty much what we're trying to see is if we can get a strong break to the upside or to the downside. So where I'm seeing price go for now is, with this whole confusion here, let me just get rid of a few marks. So as we're coming into this consolidation here, pretty much I'm just waiting for a break to the downside. So price could potentially push up and then make a drop to the downside. That's ideally something that I want to see happen. So you pretty much be looking out for something like this. It may not go all the way up, but we could have a little push to the upside and then drop down. But again, this is just the extreme scenario. And then we have this zone ranging here, which is essentially our line for invalidation. So if we go above this zone, so 104.6, this would essentially mean that we are bullish, or we'll have to reanalyze this pair in particular. But as long as we stay below this zone, I still will be bearish on this pair. So I think we're able to take out this prior low here. And then again, I'm just waiting for price to show its hands first. So again, waiting for that bearish momentum and then seeing if we can capture on to that move. So for our next pair, we're looking at CADJPY. So with this pair, what we anticipated was a potential push to the upside at around 84. But yeah, as we can see, it's not really pushing that high. We've made that significant push above this high here, so we can ultimately adjust this trend to here. So what I'm looking out for is essentially this move to the downside. Now, if price is able to push a little bit higher, then it can still do so, but I'm quite interested in looking at selling opportunities. So price, with this bearish momentum kicking in already, this could signify the start of the move to the downside. So this may not happen. We may not get pushed higher than this high here. So if that is the case, then we are capable to push lower. But just out of curiosity, or just out of awareness, price could make one more push to the upside, and then fall to the downside. But yeah, we are slightly rejecting 82 on the dot twice, so that could be a good sign for potential move to the downside. So I am looking to take out this low here to 78. So there's quite a lot of pips here, around 400 odd pips. So yeah, we'll have a look onto that in the next week or so. EURJPY, we can see it started to play out quite nicely. Again, with my head with this is to see if we're able to get into this zone essentially. So what I'm looking at now is price to potentially come to this zone. It may not likely come into this area, but you know, it does have a potential to come into this area. But again, what I'm looking out for is just that main move to the upside, which is where I think price could head and take out this high here, which is, again, this is the main move of the market. I personally didn't want to catch this sell-off because there was all this consolidation here, and it was very confusing. So as we can see, that price is starting to drop. What I'm looking for is the price to potentially come into at least 125. And if it can get into here, then you know, we can start to look out for signs of bullish momentum, and then look for that buying opportunity and to see if it can target that high here. So ultimately at 127.5 is where we could be heading into. So from 125 to 127 is just around 250 pips. So there is a you know, a lot of opportunity there in terms of pips to reward. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So looking at our last 4 pairs, NZD, JPY. So if we can see here, price is starting to take its way to the downside, which I was looking out for and anticipating. So what we've got drawn here is just the break to the downside and a retest on the downtrend. So we can get rid of the down push, and we can potentially start to look at any signs of retracements at all. So we could get price to retrace to the higher points. If I could just move it, so we could get a potential retest of the downtrend, sorry, the uptrend, and then we could get that push to the downside. So that's where I'm thinking price could head into. In terms of target, I'm not really anticipating any clear one just yet. All that I know is that we could be making its way a waypoint lower. That's what I'm focusing on temporarily, because I really want to adjust and see how the market pushes down. If we get a weak move to the downside, and I'm not convinced that we're seeing any bullish signs, and we're convinced that we're seeing strong signs of bullish momentum, then we could see price continue it and push higher to take out this low. So take out that high here. So again, the 76. So something within that relation. And moving on to AUDJPY. So as we can see here, we've started to get a bit of that sell-off momentum. So I was waiting, we did think we could start to see that sell-off now. But yeah, as we can see, we're starting to make that cut into the market right now. So with this, we're just waiting for the strength to the downside. So ultimately, just waiting for the push. If we're capable enough, we could get a retest on the downtrend, uptrend. Okay, I don't know why I keep saying that. But yeah, if we can get a retest on the uptrend, you know, that could be a potential entry. But focused on the move, essentially, I want to see price coming to around 77, and then yeah, pretty much that's where I'm thinking price could head into, and potential we could start to see price fling back up to the upside. So again, you know, there's 2 moves at hand here, just for hindsight moves, or future tense moves. You know, something as that I'm looking at for now. Of course, anything can change, but you know, for now, that's what I'm going to stick to. So USDJPY, USDCHF. So what we were looking at is that this bullish momentum and seeing if it has continuated to the upside. So as we can see, it has done quite well, and I'm seeing a sense of bullishness into this pair. So we could see price rise into around 0.9 and to be precise 0.904 is where I'm looking at here for this price target. But if price can go into this level, I will be looking out for sell-off opportunities, which is where I'm looking to take advantage of the market. I didn't necessarily want to take on this bullish momentum because of the main downtrend. The main trend is towards the downside. So as we can extend this downtrend, we can see here that the main move is to the downside. So I didn't particularly want to take apart this buying opportunity. So pretty much I'm focused on a selling opportunity here, and I'm looking to target this prior low here. So it comes just around this level here. So we could have a look at 0.87 as a potential target. But yeah, if we take a look at some pips potential, it's around just under 300 pips. So it's a good amount of pips there to be captured. Looking at USDCAD, I was quite was looking out for this pair through the week. Again, just unlucky with this one because price had made its move through the Asian session. So again, it's just unfortunate for our sake to get in on this trade, but nonetheless we can look at the opposing upside opportunity, and hopefully we can still get in on target this area at 1.31. So it's good to see that analysis is playing out quite well. So we're seeing some good strength into the market, and if we can take a look at the RSI here, we should be able to see some sort of signs of weakening in momentum. So if we take a look at this peak here, so directly on the line with this one and essentially this one, but because this is taking a play here, making a peak lower, I'm going to place it here. So we can see here we do have some very strong divergence here, and now this could be the play that we could be looking at. So if we start to make some new structure highs here to take out this lower high and this lower high here, I'll be convinced that we're pushing up higher. So I hope you can see why the divergence there is key. So yeah, ultimately, just unfortunate that we missed out on the capitalizing on the low there. But what we can look for in the future for the next week or the next few days or so is essentially the the retracement, which is something of this in a sense. So a potential retest on the downtrend as a potential look. If I copy this, we can see that we could have a potential entry here. So something like that could be of use, to get in onto this trade. That's where I'll be looking out for. And then I'm just going to be monitoring this zone quite tightly. And then, ultimately I'm just going to be looking at all these zones here. If we can push above these with confidence, then we'll move on to the next one. But 1.34 I'm looking at, and 1.31 is also where I'm looking at as well. So we'll see exactly where we can head into over the next few days. On the high time frame perspective, this pair has just been ultimately pushing down lower and lower and lower, and conveniently, as it comes into the new year, this could be the new cycle for USDCAD where we have the uptrend. So as it's January, long-term banks could be thinking this way, and we could have a strong push to the upside. So yeah, just really paying attention to that move and retracement there. So ultimately, that'll be all for this week. We did have some good moves into the market. Euro USD, NZD, USD, and gold. We're going to take a look at that tomorrow, and you'll see. I'll explain to you guys why we missed out. But honestly, it was just unfortunate because it was out of our trading hours. But again, this is the things that you can't really take too much control over unless you really do want to trade all day. Then feel free to do so, but again, there has to be a level of flexibility in your trading. That's the only one tip I could say. So stick to your hours and only trade the positions that you can. If you miss out, then that's just unfortunate. It's part of the game. Move on, and again, there's always the next opportunity around the corner. So yeah, looking at USD CAD as the next potential, and we're going to take a look at EURJPY, NZD/USD, gold for tomorrow for some potential trading opportunities for next week. So that'll be all from us for this week. If you are new to this channel, we do have a trading group that you can join. That link is in the description. If you do have any other questions, feel free to message us, and I'll get back to you as soon as we can, either it be in the comment section of the YouTube channel or on the Instagram or Telegram. So totally up to you guys. And again, thank you very much for your time for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.